Welcome to the C-Suite at the Open. I'm Brooke Suman, Head of Company Services based in Calgary. Joining us today from London, UK is Majid Shafiq, CEO of i3 Energy, ticker ITE on the TSX. Majid, welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Congratulations on the recent listing. Can you start by telling us who i3 Energy is?
Yeah, i3 is a UK oil and gas company listed on the AIM market of the London Stock Exchange since 2017. We have a board and management team that has experience in multiple jurisdictions, not just the UK. And in the UK, we have 2 licenses offshore in the North Sea, on which we have 2 discoveries. We drilled 3 wells last year. We own them 100% and operate them. And we think that one of them, called Serenity, might have 200 million barrels, and there may be several hundred million barrels in another one. So that's our business at the moment, or it was before we moved into Canada.
Excellent. Now, speaking of moving into Canada, you've closed 2 Western Canadian sedimentary basin assets since the summer. Can you speak to your strategy to consolidate Canadian energy assets and why you think the timing is right to consolidate in Canada?
Yeah, so our business plan is to convert ourselves into a dividend-paying business. So we've been looking at production for some time and very quickly realized that Canada just ticks all the boxes. It's safe from a fiscal, regulatory, commercial perspective, very liquid market for corporate and asset transactions, really extensive human resource base, very talented with respect to oil and gas from a business and technical perspective, and very diverse asset types, which is what we need to mitigate the risks to cash flows. If the dividend-paying business, the assets that we can buy in Canada are perfect. The timing's right because, as you know, there's some systemic issues that have plagued the oil and gas sector in Canada. We think those are going to get resolved over the next couple of years. In the meantime, many companies are over-leveraged, the equity markets are closed to them, and asset prices as a consequence are at all-time lows. So we have access to capital in London, and we want to use our competitive advantage whilst this window is still open to acquire production in Canada, essentially.
Switching gears a bit, you spoke briefly about the North Sea assets. Can you elaborate a bit on those?
Yeah, so we have some potentially very large assets in the North Sea. They're discoveries, so they're not in development yet. As I said, we drilled 3 wells on our licenses last year and made 1 discovery, Serenity. We think it's got 200 million barrels in place. The quality of the reservoir is excellent, multi-Darcy permeability, low drilling costs, and there's lots of infrastructure around there. And then the Liberator area, which is more of an exploration prospect at the moment, could potentially have several hundred million barrels. What we want to do is farm that out because we own it 100%. We've got the ability to do that. And we need to appraise those assets over the next year to 2 years. And then if they're as big as they think we are, then we can move them towards development. And they will be big assets, 30,000 barrels a day type of assets.
Right. Finally, Majid, what does a Canadian listing mean to i3?
Well, it gives us firstly, it increases our profile in Canada, which is very important for us, both amongst our peers and amongst the investor market. We think there'll be better price discovery because the Canadian market obviously understands the assets very well. So we're hopeful by interacting with the market in Canada, we'll get better price discovery in our share price. It'll certainly increase liquidity. We're already seeing that to some extent, but we're hoping that will grow. And then ultimately, when the market comes back in Canada, we're hoping that it will give us access to additional capital from North American investors. So with a big business in Canada, I think it's really important for us to have the exposure on the Toronto Stock Exchange.
Majid, thank you so much for your time today, and wishing you and the i3 team best of luck.
A pleasure. Thank you.